Welcome back to the corner, everyone. I'm the DM as always, and once again, like I said in the previous one, I have two videos I want to talk about today, both from Sungrand Studios. In this one, I have seen a little bit of. I just watched a brief snippet of it just to see what it was exactly about. Make sure I actually want to do the video and everything. Um, and he goes over some things that I wholeheartedly agree with, and some things that might surprise you, I think, given the two videos that I have done of him were rather confrontational with the games industry. One sec. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it and we can talk.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. I just wanted to check in with you and have a little talk and thank everyone who has recently subscribed. So, for everyone who has recently joined the channel, thank you very much for coming to hang out. And I really appreciate that you were here. Thank you for your support. Today, I just wanted to talk about what's up with my channel and what I'm doing online. I know a lot of people have seen some of my speeches that I've done recently at industry level for the game industry. And I just want to let you know I don't like doing those. That is not something that I really want to do.
Which makes
I
sense.
just want to make video games. I want to make cool things for people. I want to make fun games. And in between that, while I'm making my games, maybe I'll make some fun and interesting videos here and there for people to have a laugh at. I don't like doing industry speeches because we are addressing topics that can be quite difficult to address, and it will earn me enemies. And I
Yeah.
understand that, and I've accepted that. So, why I don't want to do these speeches is that unfortunately there is negativity involved in what you have to say, but when someone does something wrong, you have to point it out. And if you don't, things can snowball out of control into catastrophic levels. I don't want to do these speeches, and I don't need to do these speeches. I don't care about the clicks or the views, but I'm doing this not because I want to or need to, but because I choose to. And I choose to stick up for gamers and developers who feel like they are not being heard, that their voices are being ignored by the games industry. And
And we need more people like this, by the way. I recently did a video on I think it was Jaguarus, where he was talking about the phrase, if you don't like it, don't play it. Um, and that is also a video that I'm sure he didn't want to have to do, right? He probably didn't enjoy doing that video. Well, he probably enjoyed it to some extent. But the the amount of negativity surrounding these kind of topics is very, very high compared to the amount of positivity related to these topics and to these videos. Now, anyone who has watched any of my videos, you'll know that a lot of them are very, very critical and very, very negative uh, because of the types of situations and the things that I'm going over, right? And I try to come at everything from a more nuanced perspective, especially when it comes to the games industry, right? Because I, as a junior game developer, right, um, I have a better insight into the games industry than the average gamer, right? And so I try to bring what knowledge I do have to my videos to sort of explain things, right? But that is also why I like to watch other game developers and whatnot, especially the ones that actually talk out and speak out against these really malign, negative practices that are corrupting the games industry and entertainment as a whole, right? And so that's one reason why I really like these Sun Grand Studios videos, is because he has been in the industry for significantly longer than me, like directly in the industry, whereas I've only been largely a casual consumer, like 99% of gamers.
so that is why I'm doing these industry speeches. I am a solo developer. I run my own studio. I make my own games. I make exactly what I want, for better or worse, even if I don't have a huge audience, even if my games don't have mass appeal, that's all right by me. I like to explore sometimes weird ideas. Sometimes they don't always land, but I'm having a lot of fun with what I'm making. All my passion and heart goes into what I make, and I'm able to make games that people can enjoy.
And this used to be the standard. Like that right there, being passionate about what you create and just creating something that is going to be fun and hook people is how we got amazing titles like Final Fantasy, World of Warcraft, Dragon Quest, Dragon Ball, Futurama, right? It's these people who are making something because they're passionate about it, that they love it. They love what they do, and they want to make these sometimes weird, kind of wacky games, right? That's why we got like StarCraft and shit. That's why these games and these IPs have endured for so long. It's because the people developing them were passionate about developing it. Were passionate about creating it. And this is what they wanted to do. When a developer wants to make make a game, they put a lot more effort into actually making that game. And this is true for all industries, mind you. If you talk to anyone and ask them whether or not they're excited to go to work or whether or not they're passionate about their job, the people who are not passionate about it will more likely than not put as much effort into it because they feel like it's a waste of time, right? They're just doing it because society tells them they have to, because if they don't, they can't eat. They can't have a place to stay. So they do these things not because they want to, but because society tells them that they have to do it, right? And so they don't put all of their effort into it. When someone is happy at their job, they put 110% into the job.
So, for everyone that has been enjoying my games and has appreciated what I've done, I am so grateful to you guys for enjoying my games and supporting me. In the past, I've worked in the photography and the photo marketing industry, and I saw the industry and its giants rise, and I saw them fall. I saw all of the elements that went into a catastrophic failure for those industries. And at that point, I was working with industry veterans and I was new. They threw me into the deep end to see if I would sink or swim. They wanted to see what I would do in a professional environment, and I learned from the very best. And unfortunately, I lacked the experience, the wisdom, and the confidence to do anything about the things that I saw going wrong. So what happened in the photography and photo marketing industry is people exactly like Kathleen Kennedy came into CEO roles and upper management, and they destroyed everything. And I couldn't understand it at the time. I didn't have enough experience and insight. And I understand now that this movement that we have been seeing over the past few years that they call feminism is not feminism. The only thing that I can
No.
describe it is neo-feminism. It is not about equality. It is about superiority. And I will get back to that topic later on in the video.
So I'm just going to touch on it real quick. Basically, what he's saying here is that the people who are spouting their bullshit about, oh, I stand for feminism and all that bullshit, they aren't actually talking about like equality between men and women. They want women to take over everything that men are doing. Everything. They want men to suffer. They want men to have to struggle to do anything. And if you don't believe me, look at the DEI movement. There are companies, Ubisoft, Disney, fucking probably Warner Brothers, who are actively actively not hiring people based off of their skin color and their gender identity. If you are a white cis male, Disney will not hire you. Full stop. It doesn't matter your experience. You could have the most experience. You could have the best projects ever released in the history of existence. It does not matter. You are a white cis male. Therefore, you are the enemy. Therefore, you will not be hired. Full stop. Because you are a white cis male.
But basically, these people enter spaces where they don't really have actual interest in. They just want control and a sense of power. And they want people who echo the same ideological and political views and agendas as them, people that will echo them. They'll tear down anyone who doesn't agree with them and put in those people, even if those people are ill-suited to the roles in which they are working.
Trump and Biden.
And people like Kathleen Kennedy destroyed the photography and the photo marketing industry. I watched companies that seemed like they were too big to fail be utterly destroyed by people who came in not because they cared about the work, not because they cared about the industry. They didn't care about the consumer or the end product. They only cared about their own ego and taking control
and their own agenda
and assuming power. And that will destroy industries. And that is why I'm speaking up for the games industry, because what I watched firsthand right in front of me happen to photography companies and in the photo marketing industry, that is happening right now in the games industry. And I can clearly see with my own eyes, I can very clearly see it. We're going to have a disaster on our hands in the game industry. But I know that there is still time. If we all work together, we absolutely can put the ship back on the right direction. So, with my games, they're all have been quite small over the past years. And I appreciate everyone who's been understanding and been supporting and cheering on my games. Lately, I've just been planning and working on very small games, stuff that I can make in a short amount of time and that I can ship so I can keep paying my bills. Generally, I try to aim probably more than what I'm currently capable of, but that is part of my personal endeavor to continue pushing myself, to keep improving, to keep getting better, and to make better games than I did previously. I just want to keep improving. But lately, my games have been quite small. I don't talk a lot about my personal life because that's not really why we're here. And so the reason why a lot of my games are...
I totally agree with him just keeping his personal life out of this. I have absolutely no issues with this. I think he should continue to do that. I don't think, unless it's absolutely required because of like some extreme circumstance, I don't think he should be revealing personal details about his personal life because it's his personal life. And all we are consumers of his media. We are not a part of his personal life. We are not his personal friend. We are not family. He doesn't know us. We don't know him, right? We see what he puts out, right? And if that is his authentic self, that is what he chooses to let us see, right? It's like my videos, I don't edit any of my videos. All of my videos, I record them. If I think I did a shitty job or I have a slip of the tongue or something, I just delete the whole fucking thing and just start over. Because I don't like being inauthentic myself. I like just showing y'all, this is who I am. If you liked me, cool. Great. I'm glad you watched my videos. If you don't, okay. Whatever. I don't care. Right? And that's why at the end of all my videos, I say, if you like it, hit the like and subscribe. And if you didn't like it, hit the dislike and leave a comment. And it's not because I don't want comments from people who do like my videos. It's that I want comments from people who don't like my videos because I want to know why they don't like my videos. Right? Now, whether or not they do, they probably don't. I don't really care one way or another. It's why I don't really share any of my videos on social media. I don't hit the share button. I don't really promote it in any way, shape, or form. I just put a couple tags in. I usually link whatever video or sources I'm using, and that's it for the description. And then the title is usually something directly related to the video. because I don't do clickbait. Clickbait's fucking retarded, and so I don't do it. And so I just try to present my real authentic self. And if that's what he wants to do, that is his choice, right? But again, I do not think that anyone should feel like they have to put their personal life onto their fucking channels. And if they want to keep it entirely secret and hidden away, totally fine.
All my games are quite small right now. Is over the past year, I've been volunteering at a local cancer hospital. And I've been playing music. I've been going to the hospital with a fiddle, and I sit in the sort of the public area and I just play, traditional music, just something that's easy to listen to, something calming, something to cheer people up. And the staff come to me throughout the day and they're so grateful that at least I was able to brighten up their day even a little bit. People that are receiving treatments will often come down from their rooms to listen, and they'll thank me for, sharing some music with them. And friends and family who are visiting and supporting their loved ones going through treatments have thanked me for that.
And the reason why, by the way, is because music is a universal language. Everyone understands music, right? It doesn't matter what culture you're from. It doesn't matter where in the world you're from. It doesn't matter what language you speak. Everyone understands music, right? And just the instrumental of a music can speak volumes about the message of the song, right? Or about what you're trying to do with that music.
And I don't receive any money for that. I don't brag about it. And I do it because I understand what it feels like to stare down the barrel of a gun that's aimed at someone else. And you feel utterly powerless and helpless to help someone. One thing that I find as I grow older and older is I feel increasingly frustrated understanding how little I can actually do for other people. I wish that there was more that I could do to help people. I wish there was something I could do to make people's lives better. And the older you get, the more you realize how little you are capable of when it comes to that. And so this is something that I can do. Yes, it takes a certain amount of time away from my work schedule. It takes a certain amount of my focus away. I should be entirely focused on my work, on my career, on advancing my studio and making more games. But I've chosen this. I have chosen to spend time at the cancer hospital because even if it's just a little bit, at least I can help someone see that there is hope, that there can be light at the end of the tunnel. And we all know how these things go. Cancer treatments don't always work out. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. And it's the fear of not knowing.
Cancer sucks.
It's wondering if you're ever going to get to see your loved ones again. It's knowing that they probably only have until the end of the year. And it breaks my heart that people that live on Twitter that don't spend any time in the real world that are now infesting all these different industries like movies and TV and video games, they don't have this kind of understanding of the world. They don't have compassion for other people. All they care about is themselves and forcing their political views on people. And then they cry and get angry when there's any sort of criticism, and there's no room for them to gain any understanding, any improvement as a person, to become a better human being. They've closed themselves off to that, and it just breaks my heart.
And by the way, the whole reason why that is a thing is because I don't know how many people know about this, but back in like the early to mid 2000s, there was a campaign to effectively stop parents from being able to discipline their children. It got to a point where parents literally stopped trying to discipline their children because any form of discipline was seen as child abuse. And there were reports of children calling the cops on their parents and having them locked away and thrown in jail for disciplining them. Now, regardless of what you fucking think about like discipline and corporal punishment and all that shit, here's the thing, okay? I grew up with corporal punishment. Now, I wasn't ever beaten or spanked or disciplined by a teacher, or really even a lot of family members. And by a lot, I mean any. The the only one that ever laid their hands on me in a way that would cause me any amount of pain was my mother. Nobody else. What would happen, okay, is in my family, I don't know if this is true for all families, but in my family, there was this culture of if you were an adult and you saw a child do something that you knew and they knew they shouldn't have done, let's say, I don't know, leaving the fridge open, right? Or I don't know, just pick your poison, right? Doesn't really matter. But if you saw them do something that they shouldn't have done, what they would do is they would grab you, not like forcefully or anything, right? They didn't grab you hard enough to leave marks or anything, but they would grab you and make sure you knew that you were supposed to follow them. And all the kids in my family knew that if an adult grabbed you or an adult said, "Hey, you need to come with me," if they were family, right? If they were family, we knew that we were supposed to, right? Because we knew exactly who our family was. We had safe words and everything, so that if there was someone who we didn't necessarily recognize immediately, we said that we asked them for the password. If they didn't do it, we were immediately to run away, right? And that's just how I was raised. But what they would do is they would take us to our parent, tell us what they saw us do, and let our parent handle it, right? Now, I've been spanked by my mother. I've gotten whipped by my mother, right, with a leather belt and everything. However, here's the thing. Okay, there was always a rule that as long as it did not leave a mark after 5 seconds, it was fine. That was a hard rule of our family. That no matter what, no punishment could leave a mark that lasted more than 5 seconds. And never in my entire childhood did I ever receive any kind of punishment where the mark lasted more than 5 seconds. Now, did the pain last longer? Oh, you bet your sweet fucking bippy it did. You bet your sweet fucking bippy it did. However, those kind of punishments were also very rare. Because 9 times out of 10, what would happen is my mother would take any electronics I had away from me. She would lock them up, literally lock them somewhere. Not only could I not reach it, but even if I could not open it, right? And then I would be sent to my room for the entire rest of the day, minimum, and that's where I stayed for the rest of the day. No electronics, no friends, nothing. I just had my imagination and my fucking bed. Nothing else. I didn't even have toys that I could play with because it was a punishment. I wasn't allowed to have fun because it was a punishment. And it taught me respect. It taught me do's and don'ts. And it toughened me to the point where you can call me whatever the fuck you want. I don't give a shit. Because sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can never hurt you because they're fucking words.
Because one day they will be in a position in their lives where they'll need that experience and those skills to be able to
function,
to handle what's coming their way, and they won't have that. And so I just want to share with you my personal frustration and that I've lost my opportunity to volunteer at the cancer hospital. And the reason why I've lost that opportunity is because people from that woke community, the neo-feminists, who do not care about anything but taking control at all costs. They want control. They want power. Agenda. They want to tear down men. They entered the sort of the arrangement at the hospital, and they wanted to have a tight control over everything. And anyone who did not bend the knee, they bullied and pushed out. And so I had been volunteering at the cancer hospital for about a year. And then these woke neo-feminists came in and assumed control. and exerted their power in a way that made the environment unpleasant and unmanageable. And so I was pushed out of that environment because I would not bend the knee to these neo-feminists who the internet would describe as woke. But it's more than just woke. It's neo-feminism, and it's not about them fighting for equality. It's them fighting for superiority and control. They don't care about the damage that they cause to the world around them. And I am upset, not for myself, but for the people that I was able to help even a little bit, to bring a little bit of brightness to their day. I no longer can do that at that.
And by the way, this is the hospital's fault. Let's not pretend like it's not. The hospital allowed this to happen. Full stop.
In that environment. The other day, I had a disturbing conversation with a lady whom I previously had a lot of respect for. And I was explaining my views that all people are equal. It doesn't matter what your gender is. It doesn't matter what you call yourself with your pronouns. Everyone is equal. Everyone should have an equal opportunity in the workplace.
Yes.
And she laughed in my face and she said, "Well, you're wrong." And I was shocked. I thought she was joking. So I froze. And I said, "Excuse me?" I said, everyone is equal. It doesn't matter if you're a male or female. If you're the right person for the job, you should have that job. And she laughed and said, "You're wrong." And she said her reasoning is, for too long, men have been in control and we need to fix it. And by saying we need to fix it, that means you are saying that something is broken. I had brought up the topic of how Ubisoft had a mentorship program that explicitly excluded males. And I said, how is it fair that young men who want to have opportunities to work in this space, that is being taken away from them? Why? How is it fair?
It's not fair. And that's the thing. These companies do not care about being fair. They don't care about the law. They don't care about any of this shit. What they care about is their pockets. That's all they fucking care about. And this hospital is apparently no fucking exception if they're allowing this shit to also infest them.
That there are now organizations that are funding and companies that are hiring based on gender and excluding males. What am I supposed to tell young men who want to have an equal opportunity to work in those career fields? Am I supposed to tell young men that they are inferior to someone else because of the way they were born? Because of their gender, they deserve less opportunities and they are an inferior person. Because that is what this lady was saying.
That is exactly what she was saying. And that is the exact kind of thing that when the feminist movement started, that's what they were fighting against, is inequality. Is this notion that because you are a certain gender, you are therefore inferior. They were fighting against this notion. But that's not what feminism is nowadays. No, feminism nowadays is all about all control being stripped from men. And that men shouldn't have any place to work. That all men are the enemy.
And eventually she just nodded and shrugged and walked away. And that is what we're dealing with here. These neo-feminists that are online, they are not people who care about equality. They don't care about the damage they're causing. They only care to serve themselves. They want control.
They want to push an agenda.
They want superiority. They do not want equality. And I've been so disturbed from that conversation because I was utterly disgusted that this was someone that I knew in real life. And that
someone he respected, by the way.
And I said, everyone is equal. And she said, no, you're wrong. And this is the mentality that we are harboring and growing on Twitter. And we cannot allow that evil to spread any further because that is what it is. To claim that someone else is inferior because of their gender, because of the way they were born, is not acceptable.
By the way, to say that someone is inferior because of their gender is or because of their race or whatever is the exact same logic as to why people owned slaves. Because they thought black people were just inherently inferior. Like, just full stop. It's the exact same fucking mentality. I'm trying not to get too mad. But that's the exact same mentality. It's the same mentality that the Christian book spouts. It's the same mentality that the Catholic book spouts. It's the same mentality that the Quran spouts. All these religions, all these cults, these big cults that have infiltrated everyday life and made themselves out to be like the be all end all of morality when they're categorically wrong, right? It's the same mentality. The exact same. Now, I'm not saying that all of these people who are part of these cults think this exact same thing, but the vast majority of them do. I would argue about at least 95% of them. I have met very few Christians or Catholics especially that don't think this way.
That is evil. And we can no longer abide by that. We can't overcorrect and we can't fight that by saying, oh, women are wrong, women are worse. No. Everyone is equal. There is no argument about that.
And that's how you fight against it, is you continue to use this kind of rhetoric where, no, you're the one that's wrong, and the reason why you're wrong is because everyone is equal. This is the rhetoric you use.
And I know that by speaking out like this, by creating these industry speeches, I know what the consequences of my actions are. Before I made these speeches, I had to think very carefully because as a public speaker, as a presenter, I understand the deeper implications of what you say, how you say it, where you say it, and when you say it. And I know that I am receiving personal attacks now. My works that I've created, my games are being attacked. And I know that in the future, I will be review bombed. Anything that I publish now will be negatively review bombed and I will be criticized. And I have accepted that. There's
an old saying, consequences be damned. Because there comes a certain point in time where you have to stop you have to start just saying fuck the consequences. Because if you don't say fuck the consequences, nothing happens, nothing changes. And the only thing that happens is everything that you don't want to happen.
only two things I could have done. I could have kept my mouth shut and done nothing, or I could have spoken up for the developers who are caught in this very unfortunate development
Caught
in
in
the
the
industry, who
crossfire.
do really believe in what they're working on. They really care. They want to make games using their passion and their skills and their art, and they're forced into these really awful situations. And I want to speak up for gamers so that they understand that they have a voice, that they are being heard, and the industry does need to hear this. And I have accepted the consequences of my action, that there will be negative repercussions for me, and I've accepted that. And that's just how things have to be in order to get the ship back on track. I don't want to keep making these industry speeches, and I don't like making them.
But
So I will only speak when it is
Yeah.
absolutely necessary. I will do what the industry needs of me, and it's not because I want to, but it's because it's what is needed of me. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care of yourselves. I want my next videos to just be fun, just something fun. I will keep creating the character analysis videos. I think those are a lot of fun, and I'm really enjoying hearing from all of you. Take care, everyone. I'm going to enjoy a coffee. Be well.
hey, take care of yourself, right? So, what can we learn from this video from Sungrand Studios? Well, he was forced out because of woke mentality. He was forced out because people, specifically women, do not think that everyone is equal. Full stop. And we've learned that because women do not think all are equal, they think that men are the epitome of evil and need to be cast out. Well, here's what I have to say to all these woke feminists and all these woke dumbasses that want to push this bullshit agenda. Here's what I have to say. You're wrong. Everyone is equal, regardless of your skin color, regardless of your sexual orientation, regardless of your gender, regardless of any and all factors. Any and all factors, everyone is equal. And needs, must, has to be treated equally. Because if you don't, eventually you're going to say something to the wrong person, and then your life is going to end. And the reason I say this is because the world is getting more and more and more extreme with every single passing day. More and more, especially here in America, we see extremists just coming out of the woodworks, no longer afraid of being persecuted for having their extremist ideals. By the way, the reason why Nazis exist is because they believe that black people are inferior in every way. They believe that they are categorically inferior. So really, these feminists, they're no different from Nazis. That's it. So, yeah. Thank you all for coming into my corner. I've been the DM. If you liked the video, hit the like, hit subscribe. If you didn't like the video, hit dislike, leave a comment, let me know why, and I will see you all next time.